This week, 64 years ago, was the day the music died, February 3rd, 1959, when three of America's most exciting young musical stars died in a plane crash: Ritchie Valens, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly. But what you may not realize is that this wasn't the only tragic loss the music world suffered during the first week of February. In this video, we pay tribute to all those lost on this, the week the music died. I'm Linnea Crowther with Legacy.com, the website where you can find any obituary or publish one for someone you care about. Ritchie Valens was just 17 years old in 1958 when he recorded three songs that became fast radio hits: Come On Let's Go, Donna, and La Bamba. Valens, short for Valenzuela, was a high school student in Los Angeles when a record producer saw him playing in a local band. Within months, he was a national pop star playing a cross-country concert tour. That tour would take his life and two other brilliant musicians far too soon when their flight out of Iowa to the next show in North Dakota crashed minutes after takeoff. But in his short career, Valens brought Latin rock and roll to the mainstream, influencing future artists like Carlos Santana and Los Lobos. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame posthumously in 2001. Singer and songwriter J.P. Richardson was better known to his fans as the Big Bopper. Known for his raucous party music, he was just 28 when he was killed in the same crash as Valens, Buddy Holly, and the plane's pilot Roger Peterson. Richardson created a rock and roll classic with the song Chantilly Lace. Not long after his death, his song White Lightning became the first #1 hit for country music legend George Jones. Richardson's musical legacy, though, goes beyond his hit songs. Some music historians credit him with creating the first ever rock music video in 1958 and with coining the very phrase music video in 1959. Known for his distinctive glasses and lanky frame, Buddy Holly was born in Lubbock, Texas. He rose to prominence with his first single, That'll Be the Day, which was quickly followed by another hit song, Peggy Sue. Holly's percussive guitar playing, stuttering vocals, and aggressive guitar solos set the stage for rock and roll's evolution in the 1960s. The Beatles, Bob Dylan, Mick Jagger, and Elton John all cite him as a major influence. During his brief career, he recorded so much music that his record label was still releasing unheard music 10 years after his death. In 1986, Holly would become one of the first inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The tragic plane crash of February 3rd, 1959 was not the only loss for the music world that took place this week in history. Karen Carpenter, singer, drummer, and one half of the brother-sister duo the Carpenters, died 40 years ago, February 4th, 1983, after a long struggle with an eating disorder. Inspired by Ringo Starr and Joe Morello, Carpenter learned to play the drums in high school and quickly became a prodigy. But it was her voice and its 3-octave range that convinced A&M Records she would be a star. The Carpenters' debut album was released in 1969. A string of top 10 singles followed, including Close to You, Superstar, and Rainy Days and Mondays. The duo went on to become one of the most successful acts in history, selling over 100 million records. Carpenter's struggles with anorexia brought wider attention to the debilitating eating disorder, while her singing was an influence on future stars like Sheryl Crow, Shania Twain, and Madonna. Sid Vicious, bass player for the pioneering punk band The Sex Pistols, died of a drug overdose 44 years ago this week, February 2, 1979. Born John Ritchie in 1957, Vicious was a fixture of the local music scene in London's King's Road. There, he caught the attention of up-and-coming stars like Chrissie Hynde of The Pretenders and Susie Sue before being drafted to join the Sex Pistols. Vicious built his reputation on wild antics and confrontational behavior, making him a symbol of punk rock that endures to this day. Maurice White, the founder and main songwriter of Earth, Wind & Fire, died of Parkinson's disease 7 years ago this week in 2016. Born in Memphis, Tennessee, White created music spanning multiple genres, from jazz, funk, and soul to disco and more. Rolling Stone once said his band changed the sound of black pop. Nominated for 22 Grammys, White has been inducted into both the Rock and Roll and Songwriter Halls of Fame. Pianist, singer, and actor Liberace died 36 years ago this week, one of the earliest celebrities to die from complications of HIV/AIDS. Known for his flamboyant stage performances and virtuoso playing, Liberace was hailed as one of the greatest showmen of his day. His career included hit television shows, 6 gold albums, and a legacy as one of the most successful live performers in history. This week also marks several other notable anniversaries. Actor Brandon Lee, son of actor and martial artist Bruce Lee, would have been 58 this week. A rising star in his own right, Brandon Lee died in an accident on the set of his 1994 breakthrough film, The Crow. Civil rights icon Coretta Scott King died 17 years ago this week at the age of 78. Along with her husband, Martin Luther King Jr., she was among the most notable figures in civil rights until her death in 2006 of ovarian cancer. Actress Farrah Fawcett would have been 76 this week. She is remembered for her roles in shows like Charlie's Angels and The $6 Million Man, which made her one of the biggest stars of her time. She died of anal cancer in 2009. A. Milne, creator of the beloved children's character Winnie-the-Pooh, died 67 years ago this week at the age of 74. A poet and playwright, Milne wrote the story of Pooh and his friends for his son, Christopher Robin Milne, after whom the character of Christopher Robin was named. Don Everly, one half of the legendary pop duo the Everly Brothers, was born this week in 1937. Considered one of the pioneers of early rock and roll and known for his powerful singing voice, he is in both the Rock and Roll and Country Music Halls of Fame. Academy Award-winning actor Philip Seymour Hoffman died this week in 2014 at the age of 46 following a drug overdose. Considered one of the greatest actors of his generation, he is remembered for his roles in films such as Scent of a Woman, The Big Lebowski, and Almost Famous. Actress Suzanne Pleshette would have been 86 this week. In addition to prominent roles in 1962's Rome Adventure and in Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, she is remembered for playing Emily Hartley on The Bob Newhart Show from 1972 until 1978. Poet and activist Langston Hughes was born 121 years ago this week. Known as the leader of the Harlem Renaissance, he helped reinvent modern poetry before his death in 1967. Hall of Fame actress, singer, and comedian Carol Channing would have been 102 this week. She starred on Broadway in shows such as Hello, Dolly and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. On screen, she won the Golden Globe Award for her role in 1967's Thoroughly Modern Millie. She died in 2019, just days before her 98th birthday. Comedian and director Terry Jones, best known as a member of the Monty Python comedy troupe, would have been 81 this week. Jones is remembered as one of the creators of Monty Python's Flying Circus, as well as the director of cult classics Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Life of Brian, and The Meaning of Life. Actor, singer, and dancer Gene Kelly died 27 years ago this week at the age of 83. Kelly is remembered for his effortless combination of singing, dancing, and acting in films like Singin' in the Rain, Anchors Away, and An American in Paris. Pioneering filmmaker George Romero would have been 83 this week. Romero shocked viewers in 1968 with his debut film Night of the Living Dead. He would go on to create the modern zombie genre with sequels like Dawn of the Dead, and was a key influence on modern hits like The Walking Dead. He died in 2017 after a battle with lung cancer. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. You can also follow Legacy.com on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.